Kritikaa here, your favorite social media dietitian, coming at you with a video that I'm so excited to film because over the years, I've accumulated quite a few of what I would call my health essentials. I believe healthy eating should be fun. It should be delicious, at least most of the time, because that way you're gonna look forward to eating healthy. So these particular food items personally help me so much because I truly believe it can't hurt to have a little fun while taking care of your body. Now, these foods had to meet a certain criteria. I will list the criteria here because I put my dietitian hat on and I was like,
okay, I'm gonna be a little picky.
Everything's from Amazon, and for your convenience, it will be listed in the description box down below. So without further ado, let's get to the very first item. When I was a little kid, I used to be obsessed with Pepsi. I would drink one every single day until one day my father told me,
You really need to stop drinking those because you can develop type 2 diabetes.
and that shook me to my core. I was a little kid at the time, and that is actually the first time where I started to make the connection between what we put in our bodies and how it affects our health. So shout out to Dad for doing that. We know that excessive sugar sweetened beverage consumption is a really easy recipe for weight gain and increase in your blood sugar. But you know, every once in a while I get a craving for a sweet drink, but I would rather not drink my calories as much as possible because I'm not trying to gain weight, and I would also rather eat my calories. Like, I would rather eat a dessert than drink any kind of liquid calories. So in those cases, I always grab a Zevia. And you guys probably already know, if you've been on my channel for a while, you know my obsession with Zevia. I have tried all of the flavors. I actually have a video where me and my friend review all the different flavors. My personal favorite flavor, I think, is either the black cherry or the orange, and I personally love it. I really appreciate that these are 0 calories, 0 sugar. They're also sweetened with stevia, so you get that sweet taste. And some of them have caffeine, some of them don't. This one does. And I like the ingredients. It's just carbonated water, citric acid, stevia, and natural flavors. When it comes to diet soda or 0 calorie, 0 sugar sodas, my personal motto is 1 a day is okay. Okay, oops. This next one, nutritional yeast. I love this stuff. When I am buried in my grave, I want sprinkles of nutritional yeast all over me. I'm just kidding. I'm not that crazy. I'm gonna get cremated. So this is gluten-free, it's vegan, it's vegetarian friendly, it's preservative free. It is free from all the top 8 allergens because all it really is inactive yeast. And it's not the kind of yeast that you would use to make pizza dough rise. It's an inactive yeast that's fortified oftentimes with a lot of B vitamins. So it also is a very good source of protein. There's 5 grams of protein in here per serving. And it is also a good source of fiber, but it is also low calorie. And the taste of it, it's kind of like cheesy. It's a mild cheesy flavor. It's not as strong as like a cheddar cheese or something, but it's like flaky. It has a texture of Parmesan cheese almost. And it's like the holy grail cheese substitute of the vegan world. And when I first went vegan, this is something that I heavily relied on to make cheese sauces, to top on my burrito bowls or my tacos. I basically just use it like cheese. You can make a very simple cheesy cheese sauce, cheesy cheese sauce. You can make a really simple cheese sauce using this, and it's actually a lot healthier than eating regular cheese because this has no saturated fat and it has fiber in it, which cheese does not have, not to mention the micronutrients, as long as you get the fortified version. So I always make sure that the ones that I get say fortified, and I double check by looking at the ingredients and looking to make sure that it has been fortified with all these vitamins, minerals, manganese, molybdenum, vitamin B12, vitamin B6, so you can see this one is fortified. Oh, and the best part, it is a low sodium, it's naturally a low sodium food. So there's only 20 milligrams of sodium per serving. Cheese is actually moderate to high in sodium. It somehow is a little bit umami. It's a little bit like salty, but it's only 20 milligrams of sodium per serving. And to put that into context, the recommendation I think is no more than 1,500 to 2,000 milligrams of sodium per day, depending on your health issues. So I love that I can just get this like cheesy umami flavor without too much sodium. Comment below if you are going to try nutritional yeast, if you've ever had it before. Comment below your recipes and how you personally use it. I would love to get some ideas from you, and we can all learn and share with each other. Okay, so this next one, we have to go again to the grocery store because I always run out of this, but I need to have it at all times in my pantry for like a quick mac and cheese recipe. Yes, you heard that right. mac and cheese. I make a healthy mac and cheese with chickpea pasta. I have actually brought this to many potlucks, many Thanksgiving dinners, and it's always such a hit because I use the nutritional yeast to make like this cheese sauce. I make the chickpea pasta, and it's a high fiber, high protein dish, and I actually have the recipe. I make the recipe in one of my videos, which I will link up here for you. I personally like chickpea pasta or lentil pasta over like regular pasta or whole wheat pasta because there's just so much more protein and fiber and just more nutrition. So I thought it was really cool when this stuff came out. We didn't have this back in the day. But what it is, it's just, if you look at the ingredients, it's usually just chickpeas or lentils or whatever bean it is. Okay, this next one is gonna be a little strange. It is the Lipton onion soup and dip mix. Hear me out, hear me out. So what you can do is you can actually mix this in with some non-fat, no sugar added Greek yogurt to make a healthy and delicious dip to dip your vegetables in. It'll make vegetables taste better. And you really don't have to use that much. I tried to mix it in a whole container of vegan yogurt once, and I mixed half of the bag in, and it was way too much. So I feel like you can even get away with using less of this and you still get the flavor, you still get the taste, it still tastes amazing. And if you can make vegetables taste better, you're so much more likely to eat them. So at least I am. The only thing about this one is gonna be super high sodium. I wish they have like a sodium-free version or like a low sodium version. Let me know in the comments if you've found that. But each tablespoon is 20 calories. It's 4 grams of carb. There's no protein, there's no fiber. There's not much to it. It just adds that like extra flavor. And you know, you can dip some cucumbers, some celery, some angel sweet tomatoes, so you can get both protein and flavor and your vegetables in. So that is why I love this. Okay, I'm sorry. I feel like this video is going to be really long because I still have so many things to talk about. The next one is Smart Sweets. I absolutely love these so much. I always have them in my pantry. I always have them at work. They're sweetened with stevia and monk fruit, and they have a lot of fiber in them. So actually, I usually don't consume a whole bag, even if it's one of the small ones, because it's a lot of fiber and it can cause GI upset. These also do not contain any sugar alcohols, and they are gluten-free as well. But whenever I want like just a little something, you know, a little something that's sweet, that's not too high in calories, I love, love, love these. Next is a pre-workout powder. So I'm not a huge fan of most pre-workout powders that are on the market because oftentimes they contain caffeine, and usually like I'm not a morning workout person. I usually work out later in the day, and I don't want to have caffeine later in the day because I'm very sensitive. So I have found my favorite to be UCAN. This company I really, really like because this product was actually developed with dietitians, and when you look at the ingredients and when you look at the nutrition facts, it's just pure carbohydrate. It's pure carbs to give you energy. There's also absolutely no added sugars here. So a lot of pre-workouts have a lot of added sugars, and that also gives you that energy, but then you crash later. I don't crash after having this. And I actually made a video on pre-workout nutrition, and I did a 3-day experiment where I tried this versus food versus fasted workout, and I showed you how it affected me and how it affected my workout, so you can watch that video. But I've been using this for years now as my pre-workout, and I'm gonna be honest, it does not taste the best. I have the lemon flavor here. The orange one is not bad. The lemon one is okay. They also have an unflavored one, which sometimes I had mixed with BCAAs to take before my workout. Just perfect for me were the days that maybe I didn't eat a lot, or maybe I didn't have time to eat something before my workout, but I know how important it is to have some carbohydrate, some good quality carbohydrate that doesn't have fiber, that doesn't have fat before your workout, because ideally you want just pure carbs, depending on the type of workout you're doing, but you definitely don't want any fiber or fat close to your workout because that can cause stomach upset. For this one, I actually have a affiliate link that'll get you 20% off, or is it 10%? One of those, I'll link it in the description. But UCAN is my absolute favorite pre-workout of all time. I approve of the ingredients. I love how it makes me feel. It doesn't make me crash during my workout. I feel like I have so much energy. The only thing is the taste. I wish, you know, it tasted a little bit better, but honestly, I love the nutrition facts of this. I love the ingredients, and if I have to like down it real quick before my workout, if I don't have time to eat something, it's perfect for me. The next one is super important for me to consume on a weekly basis, at least 3 to 4 times a week. As a vegan, I really want to make sure I'm covering any potential vitamin deficiencies. Any potential vitamin that I may not be getting from my diet is so important for me to cover with the right supplements. So I take a B12 and a vitamin D almost every single day, and then a couple of times a week I'll take an omega-3. I also have this multivitamin from Thorne that I take sometimes, but B12 and vitamin D can be very difficult to get on a vegan diet. And that's okay. I mean, not every diet is perfect. Nobody has a perfect diet. So it's important to supplement because a deficiency of B12 or vitamin D can cause major health issues, including increasing our risk for depression, high blood pressure, and causing damage to our nervous system, which can happen if you have a B12 deficiency. Not to mention your hair and your skin and your nails. You know, your hair might fall out if you have a B12 deficiency or a vitamin D deficiency. And just the sunshine is usually not enough to get adequate amounts of vitamin D. And I have a video on vitamin D and sunscreen and, you know, relying on the sun for your vitamin D. I will link it up here. Next, I don't have these with me either because I always leave them at work in my desk drawer. They are the Nugo Slim protein bars. These are probably the best tasting vegan protein bars I have ever had. They are better than the Aloha ones in my opinion. But let me know if you have any suggestions for vegan protein bars down below. It is like more of a processed form of protein, so we don't want to overdo it on the protein bars, the protein powders, things like that. I always do get the slim one because they have other versions that are super high in added sugars. Like I think there's one that has 12 grams of added sugar. Absolutely ridiculous, unless I'm trying to like eat candy or something. But if I'm like in a rush, sometimes I will grab this to go for breakfast. I try not to do that as often, but it is high protein, it's low in added sugars, it's low in saturated fat. So this one is definitely one of my favorites. Next, I love this. I'm just gonna say that about everything. I don't know about you, but vinaigrettes on salad just doesn't do it for me. It's just, I just feel like there's no flavor there. I don't want to just put like a light olive oil on my salad. That doesn't taste good to me. So tahini is what I use instead. I make a very simple dressing using this with just tahini, water, lemon, and hot sauce. You can even put some garlic in there. I mix it up and voila, you have a very healthy, creamy dressing, much better for you than something like ranch dressing because this is much lower in saturated fat, it's high in iron, and it's high in healthy fats, the poly and the mono unsaturated fats. That's because this is purely made from sesame seeds. If you look at the ingredients, it's just ground sesame seeds. There's a black tahini, there's, you know, regular tahini. The nutritional difference between the black one and the regular one is negligible. It does look like the black tahini actually has a little bit less protein, but it does have more iron, which is expected. But personally, I need some kind of creamy dressing for my salad. I just can't do the vinaigrettes. So that's why I always have tahini on hand. It's healthy, it's creamy. It is quite high in calories though, so I just watch out like how much I'm using. Let me know in the comments how you personally use tahini, but I always have this stuff in my pantry because I need it. I need this in my life. Next. Now, something important to preface what I'm about to talk about is this is not a substitute for a healthy diet. It is not a substitute for eating your vegetables. Same thing with athletic greens and green juices and things like that, unless you're actually, you know, eating the pulp of the vegetables when you're juicing your greens, because whole food, there's like no substitute for whole vegetables. It's so important to actually get whole vegetables in your diet. And I talk more about that in my antioxidant video, which I will link above for you. But spirulina is a type of algae that has 4 grams of protein per serving. It has a little bit of iron in it, a little bit of potassium in it. It does not contain vitamin B12 though, contrary to popular belief. There have been small animal studies to show that spirulina has benefits in terms of reducing cholesterol and anti-cancer benefits. However, there needs to be more research done on humans and in larger sample sizes to actually substantiate those claims. But as a dietitian, you know, I do feel that the research is getting there on spirulina. The research seems promising. So I personally have a scoop of this, maybe like anywhere from 1 time a week to 3 or 4 times a week. I put it in my smoothie and it's just, you know, it's fun to see that green color in your smoothie, it makes it a lot more appetizing. It doesn't have the best smell, but it is very green. I know that they also have a blue version of spirulina, which is pretty cool. So it just gives that, kind of natural coloring to your smoothie and to your food to make it a little bit more fun. But my tips are to make sure that you're getting it from a reputable company first and foremost. And I did a lot of research before I grabbed this one by KOS or KOS. And I like them because they are third-party tested. It has the GMP label on it, which stands for Good Manufacturing Practices. And they didn't add anything extra in there. It's just the spirulina powder. And also another thing, I don't overdo it. It is like kind of a supplement. So it's not meant to make up a huge part of your diet. Most of our diet should be containing of fruits and vegetables and like whole foods. Okay, next, we need to move it along because we have another one. Next powder that I have here for you is PB Fit. So they have a sugar-free version, which is this one, and then they have one that does have a little bit of added sugars in it. It's really negligible, it's not that much, but this is basically defatted peanut butter. So for those who are trying to lose weight, if you're trying to be in a calorie deficit, peanut butter can be super high in calories. So we definitely wanna watch out how much peanut butter we're consuming if we're trying to be in a calorie deficit, because 2 tablespoons of peanut butter is already like 190 calories. 2 tablespoons of PB Fit though, mixed in some water or some plant milk, is under 80 calories. But you do still get all of the protein, so it's 9 grams of protein per serving. Sometimes I like to mix this in my smoothies for some extra peanut buttery flavor without all the added calories, or sometimes I will literally mix this in water or plant milk to make a peanut butter to put on my sandwiches. However, I will say I tried that with the sugar-free one and it did not taste very good doing that. In smoothies, it's fine. If I were you, I would get the regular version, not the sugar-free version, if you're gonna use it to make peanut butter. That's just my personal recommendation, but still love this very, very much. It's just defatted peanut butter powder, and it is a staple for me. This next one is hemp seeds. Hemp seeds come from the cannabis sativa plant. And before you go out and stock up on these, just know they do not contain any active THC or CBD. But yes, they do come from the same plant as the Mary Jane. But hemp seeds are actually super nutritious because they contain a lot of healthy fats, polyunsaturated fats to be specific, great source of omega-3s. That is an essential fatty acid that is very good for inflammation and our hair, skin, and nails, to prevent essential fatty acid deficiency as well. And since I don't eat fish or get a lot of omega-3s otherwise in my diet, I do make sure that I have some hemp seeds and this other seed that I'm gonna talk about in a minute. But hemp seeds are also a really surprisingly good source of protein. There are 9 grams of protein per serving in this. And I usually buy the big bag of hemp seeds, but I find that I could not get through them and I was like wasting a lot of it because it would go spoiled before I ate the whole thing. So what I've been doing lately is just buying a couple packets of the smaller ones, and I use this in my smoothies or put them in my salads or really anything. You can put this on anything. But that way I'm not wasting any because it is kind of expensive. So that's a tip, just to get the smaller little packets so you don't waste any. Funny story, my mom was telling me that she had felt like she was gaining weight, and I was like, well, what have you been eating lately? And she mentioned that she's just been pouring hemp seeds on top of her oatmeal in the morning. And so I told her to be careful with that because it does contain a lot of calories. It is a seed after all. Nuts and seeds are gonna be very high calorie, but it's definitely possible to have a very healthy diet. You could be eating lots of nutritious foods, but you could be gaining weight unintentionally. If that's not your purpose, if that's not your intention, then I would always measure my nuts and seeds out just to make sure I'm not going overboard on the calories, because it is quite calorie dense. This whole package is 160 calories. So personally, I use about half of this per day. And the last thing I want to tell you about is chia seeds. This is my favorite form of fiber, better than a fiber supplement in my opinion, because not only does it contain fiber, but it also has other health benefits. It does have a little bit of protein in it as well. And the way that I personally use it is I make a chia pudding, like in this video, I showed you how I do it. I also tend to recommend this a lot to my patients who are about to go through with bariatric surgery, or they're on a very specific ketogenic diet.
Because chia seeds are safe when used properly, but there was a very interesting case report published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology with a patient who consumed dry chia seeds, and it led to what's called an esophageal impaction, which is a medical emergency. He did have a history of swallowing issues and eosinophilic esophagitis, and we should never be consuming dry chia seeds. They should always be mixed with lots and lots of water because it can absorb many times in weight of water and expand inside you, and it could get stuck in your esophagus and cause an impaction, especially if there's a history of swallowing issues. But as always, this video is not a substitute for medical advice. Always talk to your doctor if you have any concerns about adding a specific food like this to your diet.
Because it is quite high in fiber, so you want to be careful, but I always have this stuff on hand for some extra fiber in my life, which is so important for our gut health. And you know, a lot of Americans, actually most Americans, do not get the recommended amounts of fiber in the day. So very important to focus on fiber. So again, for your convenience, everything is listed in the description box down below. And if you enjoyed this video and would like a part 2, a part 3 on other health essentials, like I have so many other things that I would want to talk about, and I didn't include it in this video because I felt like it would be too long. I know this video is already too long, but it's like skincare stuff, and then it's other like healthy tools, like fitness things that I always have on me that help keep me on track with my fitness goals and other things. Let me know in the comments if you would like a separate video on that. If enough people want that, I will create it. I appreciate you for watching, especially if you made it this far. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you guys very soon in my next one. Whew, we're done.
If you find the one, you should never give her up. I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround my soul with the positivity. That's why I don't worry about the things that I don't see, yeah. These days I don't worry about much. I think we should have some more